Look at this. That is the dumbest thing. This right here, these cables, that is for, I just feel like dumb now. What an idiot. Look, that's for the golf cart plug-in. The 120 is on this side. What an idiot. Welcome to today's video. We're going through it again. We got a problem we ran into the other day. Got to the house and figured out the golf cart wasn't charging. So unplugged it, plugged it back in, thought maybe the GFCI tripped or something, and turns out, man, it seems like we got power going to the charger. It just doesn't want to charge. So here we are, working on a golf cart charger. That's just how things go. We've got to figure it out. Another journey of learning and trying to figure it out on the messy workbench here. So let's get right into it. So first things I've done is I've plugged it into an outlet that I know has power. Will not light up, won't do anything. So I have flipped this thing over, and let me just show you what we got going on here. So what we got is a Delta Q SC48 volt Easy Go charger, made by Delta Q is the brand. Ignore the name. That's the person I bought it from. He had to mark it with his name. Wish he would have marked it with a sticker, but that's okay. He marked it with his name. I'm going to sit you up a little closer here so maybe you can see what's going on. So we are safe and unplugged. What I've done is I pulled the back off here, and if you look in this thing, I don't know if it's hard to see, but there's a little fuse down here where the main power comes in. And there's a fuse right here. It's an F1 fuse. Only fuses I can find in this deal. So I got my trusty handy Fluke meter. All you need is a meter that tells ohms. Mine has a cool beep function. Some of them have beep, some of them don't. What you want to see is O means open loop. When you touch them together, it goes to a certain ohm reading. And so that ohm reading right there, when it's fully touching each other, is going to be a .3. That's how much resistance is just in this wire. But yeah, so that's what you want to hear. You want to hear it beep. And if you touch the two sides of these fuses, there's little prongs on the top, little metal showing. Touch the top, you should hear it beep, and it is. So that means the fuse is good. It's making connection still. Same thing across this fuse. Touch it, it's beeping. So that fuse is good also. Non-air blown fuse, which sucks. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to see if I can put power to this. It's open, so you want to be careful, but I'm going to find my cord. I'm going to plug it in, and I'm going to check for voltage on that little fuse. So now I'm going to change my meter to AC voltage. What you want to do when you're testing the type of voltage at your house is AC. I'm going to put my black to this ground right here. I'm going to put my red wire to the same little prong there. And I'm getting no voltage there, which is interesting. No voltage there, no voltage there. I would suspect that would have voltage. Now, unless this thing has some sort of a switch that turns off, I don't know. Turns power off to it whenever it's not plugged into the batteries. Maybe. I don't know why there wouldn't be voltage. I would just assume that power comes in there and it goes right through that fuse and there would be power there. But it is coming up with nothing. no voltage. So I think what I'm going to try and do now is I'm going to, so another thing I noticed when I have this thing open is the, let's see if you can see here, the wires are connected to here with just they're little plugs, they're little slip-on connectors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some needle nose, hang on. So the beauty of being the DIYer of the house and in the let me make sure I know which wire to go where. That was the white, green, black is the order they go in. But the beauty of being the DIY enthusiast is when things break, you just really got to get in there and figure it out, right? But the interesting part is a lot of times you don't know, like you've never done it before, you've never worked on some of these things before. So the beauty of and the fun of it is figuring it out. That's what we're doing. So you may probably going to go through this video with a little bit of confusion, maybe a little loss every once in a while because we're trying to figure out what's going on here. So never done it before, and that is the beauty of the DIY. And now I need a knife or something because that is like glued in there. Put this like, put all this glue on the inside of that thing. It is just glued in there. Why do they do that? I weren't expecting people to be in here jacking with it, is my guess. Okay, I'm gonna cut some more of this goopy crap out of here. There we go. There we go. Now it's freed up. I noticed it's a little black on the end. Man, I don't know what that's about. Is that an indicator here? See how black that thing is? It's like black. I don't know if that's an indicator of anything, but okay, so now that we have it out, here's what we can do. Open them up safely, because when I plug this in, those wires are going to be hot. So we don't want them touching anything. We want to be careful not to touch them as well ourselves. So still have it on AC voltage. I'm going to put my red to the black wire, my black to the white wire. I got no voltage there. That is interesting. Okay, well, let me check this. What is going on there? I think I don't have voltage. Let me see here. I'm just going to check it right here on my extension cord and see if I don't have power on this. Nope, 120. See, 120 volts on the extension cord. Now I'm going to plug this back in. Boom. And I'm going to check voltage. So black wire should have 120 volts. When I put my wires on here like this, that right there, that should say 120. It doesn't. It should be just a straight wire. What's going on with this wire? I don't understand that. Huh. Why is there no voltage getting in here? And when I check that fuse, that makes sense now. The voltage isn't going through the... Oh, you know what? I just figured out. This is the process, and when you don't pay attention, look at this. Look at this. That is the dumbest thing. This right here, these cables, that is for... I just feel like dumb now. What an idiot. Look, that's for the golf cart plug-in. The 120's on this side. What an idiot. Okay, well, shoot. Well, no wonder there's no voltage coming out of there. They're bugged to nothing. Okay. This is what happens whenever you're DIYing it here, guys. All right. Here we go. Plug that in. Now, I'm going to check voltage on this other fuse down in there. And then I bet you I'll have 120. What you want to bet? Yep, 120 on both sides of that fuse. So So I don't know if you can tell, you probably can't tell what I did there, but I took my meter and I put the black wire there on the ground, put my red wire on this side of that fuse, and then that side of that fuse. That gave me 120 volts. Okay. You know what? I'm half tempted just to say that this, I don't know if this thing's, something's broken. It's not a fuse. I don't know if I want to put the time and energy into figuring out what part of this is bad. I'm not going to be able to fix it. I'm not going to buy a new board. That's what I'm going to do. I hate that they did this, because here's my backup plan. Hang on. Give me a minute. I'll be back. Okay, let me just show you something when it comes to batteries. So this battery configuration is 48 volts. So to get 48 volts, if you notice, these are 12 volt batteries, and there's 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take 4 batteries at 12 volts, hook them up in series, meaning when you hook batteries up in series, every time you hook up a new battery in series, it doubles the voltage. So this is an easy one to see. If you notice this negative, the negative on this battery is hooked to the positive on this battery. There's a jumper wire that goes around here. That continues on. The negative of this battery hooks to the positive of this battery, and so on. So they all jumper together. So this is the positive here. Negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, and then finish it off with a negative. So everything hooked to the first positive and the last negative, it will come out 48 volts because you double the voltage. You add, this is not a double. It's kind of a bad, it's not a doubling of voltage, it's an adding of voltage. 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12 is 48. So if you take this and you measure this first battery here, positive, negative, let me put this where you can see it, positive, negative on the first battery, okay, you have 12 volts. You can do that through this whole thing. I'm going to swap them because they're different. See, 12 volts. So now if I put my meter on this red one and this black one, the last two, now you have 48 volts, which are kind of low because I haven't been able to charge it because it's broken, right? So, but if I put it, let's say, here, look what you get there, 23 volts, about double. So you add, every time you put a battery in series, you add whatever voltage that next battery is. I don't think you could put a 12 and a 6 volt and end up at 18 volts. I've never tried that before, but I don't know that it's possible. I'd probably not do that. I don't know why you would want to do that, but just always get the compatible, every DC voltages when it comes to batteries, they always end up in a multiplier of a certain one. So if you have 48, it's going to be a multiplier of 12. 12 multiplier of 4, 12 volt batteries makes 48. So that's why they do that. You could put more 6 volt batteries and get 48 volts, but this one's a 12 volt configuration. So with that being said, this is good. I know everything's good. All my batteries are good. I got 48 volts, 47.7, which is not low enough for this battery charger to detect. It should detect that and start charging. So that's the first step, was to make sure that the batteries weren't just too low to where the charger didn't see it and not charge it. So we're going to move to step number 2 now. Okay, next step in this process is, let me check right here is where the plug enters where you plug the charger in. It has these wires going. I noticed there's screws on this, so let's just pull this off and see what this looks like. I'm gonna pull these 3 screws out. Let's see what we got under here. This looks like a handy little plug. It's like a pre-made, like a pre-factory made little adapter here, which is kind of cool. If this thing ever goes out, it'll be easy to replace. Who knows? This thing might be bad now. I may need to replace it. Let's just take a little washer came out of there. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Okay, so yeah, I have a wire going down here. Has a fuse on it. I have, this is a little LED light thing that sticks out the front. That kind of gives you a green light also when it starts charging. It communicates back with the charger somehow. Okay, let's go ahead and check voltage on this thing. Let me go ahead and assume the red wire is going to be the positive here. And I'm going to guess it's that one. I bet you the middle one goes to there, this one goes to there. It just makes sense. Yeah, there's a red wire there. Yep, going to that one. Okay, so this red wire looks like it hooks right to the battery there. So first thing I'm going to do is let me just stick this in here like this. And let me go ahead and I'm just going to hook it up to the negative over here at the very end. Okay, 47, there you go. So it's just like I hooked up from there to there just through this wire, which is good. Getting a good 47 volts. Now one of these, this other gray one is hooked to this, but I don't know what that is. That's kind of interesting. I wonder if that's like the little sensing module or something. I don't know. I don't know what that is right there. Maybe that's blown. Does it say? Yeah, I'm gonna do a little. I'm gonna figure out what that is. I don't know what that is right there. But this wire, it's a black wire. Being this is DC voltage, usually red wires are positive, black wires are negative. So let me just check that now. Oh, 27 volts. That's an issue. I would suspect that should be 48 volts. I would suspect that is the negative charging port. I'm saying I'm guessing here because I did not look this up, and you would kind of think it'd be smart to just look up some wiring diagrams, but you know, we're winging it here. Winging it. It should be easy. So black wire, let me trace this thing out. It goes down here. And it goes behind this janky deal. This thing was kind of halfway put together by somebody had done some work to this thing and added some crazy features, and so they didn't really put this back in very well, but that's okay. Let's see. Okay, that's the wire there. Going this way as I suspected. Hang on a minute. Look at this. Hang on. Let me put that back. Hang on a minute. Hang on just a minute. Look at this. I traced that wire back here, and it went right here. Look, it's broken off. It was underneath there. It's broken. Somebody spliced that together, and now it's broke. That is our problem right there. There it is. Let me go grab some stuff to fix that. Hang on. I just need to cut that and butt splice it back together again. And we're fixed. I guarantee we're fixed. Hang on. Okay, we'll get you up close and personal here on the fix of this thing. Let me get in here to a spot I can work on this bad boy. So, found my butt splices. Look at that. Wire was broken. Okay, I'm just going to take this, I'm going to strip it back. So if you're unfamiliar what a commonly known as a butt splice is, that kind of was melted a little bit. Man, that's what happened there. It got hot or something. See that? I'm going to cut this end piece off here just so. Get it out of here. So I'm going to get rid of that bad piece right there. You don't want any piece of that got hot and it looks good. So a butt splice. Well, these little dudes right here. And probably a balloon will work. So all they do is you take these crimpers right here and kind of have the wrong ones for these splices. No, this one will work. It's an insulated one. So you put it in there. There's the metal thing in there, and the wire goes into, and it just makes it. You can connect the wires back together again. So you put it in the little hole where the metal's at, and you just crimp down on it real hard, and then that squeeze that little metal piece on the wire. You stick your other end of your wire. This side didn't look too bad. It was in a butt splice already. Someone's repaired this once before. I don't know if you noticed that piece I cut off there had a butt splice already on it. And then you take this bad boy, you put it in the other end, and you just squeeze down on it real hard. Notice on these it says insulated, non-insulated. Has a little nipple that kind of goes in there. If you do it on the nipple, it works, but you just mess up the insulation. If you use the insulated one, it doesn't mess up the insulated piece. So if you want to just grab it, kind of pull it. Oh, look at that. That's a problem. See, that's why you got to yank on it. Make sure it's in there right. And it was not. That doesn't happen very often. That doesn't happen very often. Okay, that's... Oh yeah, look at how that wire, like I just missed it. I screwed it up there. Everybody. Yeah, look at that. I just completely screwed it up. I didn't get any of that wire actually in the butt splice. Huh. Let me cut that off and restrip it again. I'm going to run out of wire here if I'm not careful, but that is not good. Okay, let me restrip this again. Twist the wires up. Grab another one of these. This might be the wrong one. You know, this wire might be too big. These things are, again, they come with standards, and no, I just didn't do it right. You know, they come with standards and sizes, and you know, if you're doing this the right way, most people would say you gotta look up the size of the wire, find the exact right butt splice for that wire. That's why these are color coded and yada yada. But you know, we like to wing it around here. We don't like to be that official. Winging it gets the job done. What's the saying? Season it degrees? Same thing here. I'm sure people will say teaching bad habits, whatever. It'll be fine. Let's see, let me get this back in there. Boom, it went in there good. Now, camera's kind of in my way. I'm not used to working with a camera. Usually I'm just kind of winging it. And I'm not used to working with a camera. Usually I'm just making stuff happen. I don't got cameras in my way, but we're doing this for the people. We're doing this for the people. Okay. Got my tug test. Perfect. Grab my tools. Move over out of the way. And let's check this again. While I'm in here, I might as well pull this off. And yeah, battery, the water level's good in that thing. I don't mean. So these golf cart batteries, there was called lead acid batteries. And so with lead acid batteries, you have to put, they have water and acid bath that the cells sit in. And so you have to make sure those cells are full. You have to make sure that those battery containers are full. That's why those caps come off. You gotta, sometimes your water will evaporate out of there. So it's good to check them every so often. So let's see if I can put you back. Let's put the camera back here somewhere where you can see. You know what, I bet she's gonna be better right here. Hang on. Let's see here. You can see the voltage. Okay, I'm going to everything look kosher. Okay, I'm going to take this again. So what we learned was that black wire now is going to that. Put that there, put that there. Look at that, 47 volts. Let's see what this says now. No? What does this do? Oh, 47 volts. So I got my reference back again. Look, now I got 47 volts on both of these. I don't know if I checked that one a minute ago, but that was 26 volts earlier. Or 27 maybe. It's 27. It's something. Not 47. That's a problem. Okay. Well, hell, let me just put this back together. And we're going to bet this thing's going to work. This thing's going to work. Let me, if you notice, but the little washer thing came out of that one. So I'll make sure to put that one in first. It came out of this side. Screw that screw back in. I really like this. I really like the way they designed this, which is surprising. Usually, new age stuff is designed all jacked up, but they did a good job here. This little connector. I mean, I don't know how much those things are, but if that thing ever goes bad, the little plug goes bad, man, that's going to be really easy to change out. Heck, I may just buy one and keep it handy as a spare, just in case, you know? Nothing like having a good backup laying around. That's always good practice. Guys, I'm using the wrong screwdriver too. I'm kind of slipping a little bit, which is not something I like to do. Okay, let's see here. You know what, let me move this charger out here to where we can all see it. Okay, so what I'm hoping for is that when I plug this in now, oh, look at that. It's working. That was the problem. You know, and this is what's crazy, is that when I looked at this before and came down here and looked at these wires and was like, everything looks good. Looked at these wires, kind of wiggle them around. Everything looks good. Everything was good here. But this was like down there below it. And I just never saw it. I never saw that broken because it was hiding. That is just great. I love it. There's another successful DIY fixed. You know, we started off thinking a blown fuse was wrong. Was blown inside the charger itself. Turns out it was a broken wire inside the golf cart underneath the seat that was not letting the charger see the adequate voltage, so I didn't know I needed to turn on. And you know, if I was to change one thing about this whole setup, it would be that this charger, when you plug it in, it freaking turns the light on to tell you that it's on. Isn't that frustrating? If this thing would just turn the light on when you powered it up, we would have known there's nothing wrong with the charger. It's got to be something over here. But hey, we learned something, and that's what this is all about. The DIY journey is all about learning something new and diving into stuff that you've never done before and just figuring it out. That's what it's all about. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you maybe learned something about DC voltage that maybe you didn't know before. Man, leave a comment if you got any more questions. I can either answer it or do a dang good job at Google searching it and give you the right answer. So leave a comment if you got any more questions about DC voltage and how it works. That's all I got. And until next time, keep DIYing.